So shift work, which is when you are working at nighttime, at times when you are supposed to be generally sleeping as a regular diurnal being, is associated with all kinds of chronic diseases from anxiety, depression, loss of productivity, extreme mood swings, even cancer and Alzheimer. This is because as a shift worker, you are working against your biological clock, and this causes circadian disruption. So in this video, let's discuss some strategies to minimize the circadian disruption for shift work. Obviously, the first strategy and the most valuable strategy that I can ever give you is bringing your awareness that you might want to change your job simply. However, I do realize that many of you might not want to take this step. So what can we do instead? The first rule of thumb is making sure that you are working on a consistent schedule for at least 14 days before switching your schedule. And you want to avoid shift swings, which means working for 4 or 5 days nighttime shift and then another 4 and 5 days daytime shift. So staying consistent with your schedule, even if it's nighttime, even on the weekends, will be one of the greatest strategies to offset and minimize the negative effects that you experience as a night shifter. Now, we often get the question, and it's a very important question: should I be viewing bright artificial light during my work shift? And the answer for this is obviously yes, because anytime you want to be awake and alert, you want to increase your light viewing protocol and maximize the amount of light that is arriving to your eyes. Now, we all realize that there's a major problem with this. It's because artificial light at night, and especially the artificial lighting that we deal with in our society, which peaks in the blue light, will destroy your melatonin production and causes abnormal cortisol production at night. And you are all familiar that melatonin is a very important sleep hormone. But this is only one small aspect of what melatonin does. In fact, melatonin is the highest antioxidant in nature. It's anti-inflammatory. It promotes longevity. It's anti-aging and enhances the function of your immune system. Also, it's a very important signal that activates thousands of different biological processes that are important for optimal health. Now, the good news is that recent studies have shown that bright orange and red light at night can increase your alertness and your focus without necessarily completely sabotaging your melatonin production at night. And this means that you'll still be able to work, to feel alert enough to engage in the task that you want to engage with and perform, while not completely sabotaging your melatonin production. And for this, we highly recommend using the VivaRays evening glasses while deliberately exposing yourself to bright light during your shift. And what this will do is it will enable you to receive dense and bright orange light into your eyes, which will promote wakefulness, yet it will help you maintain a relaxed and calm nervous system, and you will still be able to produce melatonin and benefit from the thousands of different other things that melatonin offers to your body other than triggering sleep. The number 2 question that we often get: so when I finish my nighttime shift, and let's say it's 4 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning, should I be viewing light? Should I be watching the sunrise? It's a very important question, because for a person like me, who has a very different circadian rhythm than a shift worker, a circadian rhythm that is following the solar cycle, waking up with the sun and sleeping with the sun. Obviously, when I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, this is the time when my core body temperature is rising. and it's an extremely important time for me to maximize light viewing protocols and try to get as much light into my eyes as possible so that I could start feeling alert, focused, and ready for the day. And this will reset and entrain my circadian clock. Now you want to realize that as a shift worker, your circadian rhythm and your temperature rhythm will work in a very different way than a regular person who's following a solar cycle. For you, coming back at 6 a.m. in the morning from work, this is the time when you've been awake for at least 12 to 15 hours. And naturally, your core body temperature is dropping. And your endogenous circadian rhythm is working much differently than a regular person. At this time for you, your circadian clock is registering nighttime, even though it's 6 a.m. in the morning and the sun is rising. And the problem is that if you view sunlight at this time, you're going to disrupt the signal for you. You want your body to think that it's nighttime so that you can go back home and get restful night's sleep. And if you view the sunrise, if you view bright artificial light at this time, you're gonna signal to your clock that it's daytime, and it's gonna be much difficult for you to go back home and sleep. So here's what you need to do. As soon as you finish your shift work, you wanna minimize viewing light. And we recommend putting your VivaRays nighttime glasses at this time so that you block all of the blue and the green, and you decrease the brightness by 15 times. And you would also want to sleep as soon as you can after you arrive home. Definitely avoid eating food. Go to sleep in a pitch dark room. If you don't have control over your room, making it extremely dark, wear the VivaRays mask. And this will help you to access much more quality sleep. And it will help you to offset a lot of the negative effects from working as a night shifter. Now, another very important question that we often get. When I wake up in the late afternoon, should I be viewing light? And will light help me to feel more fresh, energized, and help me sleep better the following day? Well, the simple answer for you is definitely a yes. Okay, even though it might be 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., which will fall into the circadian dead zone for a person like me who is following the rhythm of sunlight. For you, it's not going to be a circadian dead zone, but let me clarify what a circadian dead zone is. A circadian dead zone is a time frame in which no matter how much you view light, you're not going to reset your circadian rhythm anymore. As an example, if I wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, I do have a window of time for about 2 to 3 hours to be outside and to positively influence my circadian clock. And after that time, no matter how much light I view in my eyes, I'm not going to influence my circadian rhythm in any way because it falls under the circadian dead zone for this particular rhythm, following the solar rhythm. Now for you, the circadian dead zone is going to be different. When you wake up at 2 p.m. or at 4 p.m., your core body temperature is now rising and your body is signaling morning time. So going outside and viewing as much light as possible in your eyes will act as your morning sunlight and will be extremely important for you to balance your cortisol and melatonin production and your temperature rhythm throughout a 24-hour cycle. Another very important question, should I be watching the sunset? Yes, definitely yes. And the sunset will act as bright light information that will help you stay awake and alert during your work shift at night. So you want to think that maybe the sunrise is replaced by the sunset for a person like you who's working on a nighttime shift. Now lastly, very important is to time your eating on a schedule and try to eat every day at the same time. And this will act to help create a more robust rhythm in your cellular clocks and in your organ clocks, and it will help you to offset a lot of the negative effects of working at night. Obviously, someone working at night, coming back from their shift, viewing a lot of light and eating at the wrong time, they're gonna really sabotage themselves. Whereas if you start doing the right things, block that light as I explained, avoid eating at that time, and time you're eating at the same time every day, particularly if you wake up at 2 or 4, that's your morning time, that's when you wanna have your biggest meal. Staying consistent with your light viewing, with your feeding, and potentially with the time of your exercise will help you as a night work shifter to really offset a lot of those negative effects and start living more in rhythm.